Welcome, Rocket football fans, to another show. We've got a lot of stuff for you today, so stay tuned for the whole show. You'll want to make it to the end. We've got Uncle Mark's back, and he's going into the football legacy, the Thompson football legacy. He's going to talk a little bit about Sean's football legacy and what makes this game such a passion of his. We also are going to have a very interesting trip out to the football field with a couple of guys on the football team, Gavin Dickerson and Brandon Lamy, and what they're going to do is tell us what this can is on the sideline every week. So it's pretty fun. We had a lot of fun shooting that out at the football field today and inside the gym. So we'll get started right now. Coach Thompson, this week is homecoming week. I know it's always, you talk about as a coach, you got to avoid distraction.
Yeah, definitely. There's a lot of fun, positive things happening this week, so we got to make sure that we stay focused and understand we still play a game this week. Parade the night before, Powderpuff. Typically we have a team meal on Thursdays, kind of taken away from our routine, so we just have to find a way to go out and make sure that Friday night we're ready to go. The
Powderpuff game has become quite a competitive deal, hasn't it? The football guys coach, and they coach their respective classes, and it breeds a lot of competition.
Yeah, it's fun to watch. Those girls are competitive. I like watching how they get after it. It's exciting. And it's also nice to see these creative plays that the guys come up with. I like to think that I influence those somehow. I don't know.
Well, it's a lot of it. They're drawing it with a stick on the ground, yeah. But it is it's pretty fun to go watch, and we'll see. I'm sure a lot of fans out there on Thursday night too. Let's talk a little bit about football. Of course, we play Webster County this week. Webster comes in at 1-3. This is a game. If we stay focused, we should take care of business. But the business we want to talk about right now is we played Caldwell County a pretty good game last week, and we dropped one notch in the poll down to number 10, and Caldwell bumps up. Is that a lack of respect for the program, or is it something you just feel like you just never know who's casting these votes either?
Yeah, it's just, you don't know who's making the votes and who's voting for who, or who knows anything about a specific team. But what I do know is that Crittenden County is a very good team, and Caldwell County is a very good team, and both of us should get votes, from the people throughout the state. And sometimes it works out for you in your way, and sometimes it doesn't.
If you look at the polls this week, Crittenden County, of course, number 10 in the Class A poll. Number 1 is Pikeville. Number 2 is Beechwood. And we'll run down, we'll show the list here on the screen. And Coach Thompson, of the top 10, 4 of those teams are over in our side of the state that we would have to go through in order to get to a state championship. And I know that's everybody's goal. It is every year, and certainly especially this year. But Beechwood, Ludlow, Campbellsville, they're teams that we'll have to go through.
Yeah, definitely. Only having 4 out of 10 out of the West,
it's pretty good right now.
Yeah,
this can change. This is very fluid.
Yeah, but what you look at is I think the road goes through Beechwood, and that's a team out of the West. Either way, East, West, no matter, just statewide, Class A, I think the road is through Beechwood. They're the returning back-to-back state champions, right. and they return a lot, and they play a real tough schedule. People talk about Caldwell plays a tough schedule. Beechwood plays a tough schedule, an unbelievably tough schedule, and they're a tough team. So I think the road, even though they're at number 2 this week, like I said, you don't know who's voting, what they know about who, but Beechwood is probably the path to a state championship, Class A.
Beechwood's a program that has that tradition, much like Mayfield. They're in the state of Kentucky. They are a Mayfield type team. I want to talk a little bit too about our stat leaders. We're getting a lot of guys that are way up there in the KHSAA Class A. Weekly stats, the leaderboard, if you will. Hunter Boone's number 2 in passing. Ethan Dossett's number 2 in receiving. Tyler Boone is number 2 in tackles, just a sophomore. Gavin Dickerson is number 6, fumble recoveries. Devin Nesbitt's 8th in rushing. And Braxton Winters is number 20 in tackles. Then a lot of other team categories too, Coach.
Yeah, those guys, they come out every day and they work for the recognition they're getting. The Hunter, he's got an arm. He's blessed with the arm talent that is special to watch. And Ethan, the work he puts in, it shows in the rankings. The same with Tyler. He just flies around the field and has fun. Nesbitt, same. And Braxton's the one I want to get to. Is we don't talk about Braxton much, but he's just silently is right there every week.
Number 20 in the state of Kentucky is nothing to sneeze at.
Yeah, definitely. Every week he's right there at with the top guys in statistics, and just he does so much. But for whatever reason, it's overshadowed by another performance. But he's a guy that every week is in there.
And that's on defense, of course. If something, we pray nothing happens to our starting quarterback, but he's also one of the guys, that right there behind Hunter, him and Hunter Jones.
Yeah.
Also, want to mention too, our team categories, we're number 2 in passing, number 3 in fumble recoveries. Scoring margin, we're number 7. In scoring, we're 8. Interceptions, we're 8. Sacks, we're number 10. And scoring defense, number 11. I know that makes Coach Courtney happy too.
Yeah, it's nice to see being up there in all those defensive categories, you know. And we feel like we have a complete team this year, and you throw special teams in there. We feel very competitive in special teams as well. So to be able to say that we have one of the top offenses and one of the top defenses statewide, statistically speaking, right now is awesome.
I know you've had time to watch the film this week and maybe watch it 2 or 3 times probably and reflect on that.
Too many times.
Reflect on that call. But save maybe 3 plays.
Yeah.
Our defense played incredible.
Yeah. And it's all about how the passion that they have when they approach the game, the energy they play with. The more and more I'll say it. T-Bone plays with a passion that is second to none. But the more and more I watch him and Gavin and how they interact with each other, Gavin's not a rah-rah guy, but I'm telling you that he is playing with that same passion that T-Bone, he's matching that, and it's special to see 2 guys create a bond and fly around and lead the defense the way they are.
And, Tyler, of course, I've been around Tyler probably more than nearly any of these kids. He's friends with my son. He's at my house a lot on the weekends, and it's Tyler's such a congenial, gentleman type person, but man, when he gets on that football field, that switch goes off.
Yeah, he's nasty. He plays with an attitude, as every defensive coach's dream. Yeah, any coach's dream, period. So I was telling Gage one time, we're lucky to get to say we have coached him because he plays. He's just so passionate about the game, and any sport is the way he plays basketball, the way he plays baseball. It's just you get kids like that, and it's just special to be around them. They help you grow as a coach. So he's just a special kid.
Let's talk a little bit about last week's scores. Webster County beat Fulton City last week 38-8. Of course, we've got Webster County here this week. Fulton County 38-37 over Stewart County. I think that was on the last play of the game. They Fulton County got some votes this week in Associated Press polls, so they're getting a little bit of attention down there. Logan County just obliterated Russellville 49-7. I know Russellville; those guys got to be kind of looking around a little bit.
Yeah, you get to that point where it's got to start clicking, or you won't start to wonder if it is going to or not. So I feel like they're probably in that situation now. And they got Trig coming in this week, who is a tough opponent. So
be a good little measuring stick for us
to see where we're at with them.
And of course, we do not play Russellville until the final game of the season. So a lot of water is going to go.
Second to last.
Second to last. Yeah. Okay, we got South
Central.
Hopkins Central the last game. That's right. There's a lot of water will go under the bridge. Between now and then, the injuries can play a major role, and we'll talk a little bit about some injuries here in just a little bit. But to finish running down the scores, Union County beat Madisonville 14-13. That's a pretty nice win for Union County. And Trigg beat Ballard Memorial 49-13. Did you get any information on what went down?
Yeah, for me it's surprising. Not that Trigg beat Ballard, but more so that Ballard scored 13 points.
And they scored late, I think,
after the clock was running. Yeah, so basically from talking to Coach over there, he just said that they struggled with trig speed. Yeah. So trig might have changed some things up than what they did against us, and flew around and had fun playing football. And when you do that, you see what can happen.
Yeah. The last score I've got is Hopkins Central 19, Todd Central 6, and we will, as Coach said, play Hopkins Central that last game of the year. Be one of our common opponents this week. Around the area, Trigg County, as you mentioned, will be at Russellville. Nice game for us to keep an eye on. Todd Central will be at Fulton City. South Fulton will be at Fulton County. That's South Fulton, Tennessee. Ballard Memorial will be at Union. Madisonville at Hopkinsville. And Henderson County at Caldwell. Any of those kind of get you juices going there, Coach?
Yeah, I'm excited to see the Russellville Trig, of course, just as that measuring stick you talked about, and then also the Ballard and Union. I just want to, Union County had a big win. I want to see how they can respond this week. I think they're undefeated, and that gives them an opportunity to come in next week against us undefeated.
Of course, Union County will be here next week.
Yeah, get that win against Ballard. And then the other one, of course, after just playing Caldwell County, is Henderson County. They go play a big school, and just to see how they compete there, how they respond, because I feel like it was an emotional game for them as well. You know what I'm saying? Because it was such a close game for so long.
It's hard to get a read off of the Union County and Webster County game. Union beat them 38-7. It's hard to get a read off of that.
Yeah, I think the clock was running before half, so it's definitely hard to tell.
Well, again, we have Webster County. They're 1-3 coming in. The only win of the season was last week over Fulton City, and I've got some clips on that. But I looked on the field. It looked like Fulton City had at least 12 guys. I saw one.
That's what I counted as well.
so they got 11 on the field and one reserve. Yeah. I know that's tough, but how courageous is that on their behalf?
My heart goes out to those kids. It's just special to see that there's that small group of kids, the love they have for the game. Because we try to tell our kids every day. One snap it could be gone. It could be gone, and you don't get to play again. And they know they're in a tough situation, and they come to work every day, and they play every Friday night. And for a little while, they don't know. They know they're taking the loss, and they still wanted to play. So I think that those kids are courageous, and I respect them for it.
Webster County, as we said, 1-3. They beat Fulton City. Their losses have come 20-12 to Hopkins Central, 53-0 to Hancock County, and 37-8 to Union County. Coach, looking on film, offensively, I don't know how to describe Webster other than to say I think if we play our game this week, we should be okay. This is more of a week. It's about what we do, maybe.
Yeah, it's one of those weeks you go in there and take care of business, and you want to do that and get the game over with. You don't want to let a team like that hang around and get confident, because then anything can happen. So we want to go in and we want to jump on them fast and keep going until the dogs are pulled off.
Their quarterback Mason Wilson's thrown for 260 yards. Mm-hmm. And I think they've rushed for just about the same amount, 268, and that's in 4 football games. So not real strong offensively.
They're kind of like Russellville. They've changed their offense, going to more of a spread this year. They actually run the system just like we do, their version of it. So they're taking their lumps. Just transitioning into the new offense, and at some point you hope that they begin to see some success in it.
Well, I know you all played them in the 7-on-7 in preseason, and I know your comments then were Webster's better.
Yeah, they are. They're much improved. Their quarterback, you speak on their quarterback, he makes great decisions. But when the bullets are live and you got the offensive line in front of you, it changes things. And even us, in a 7-on-7 match, we can go out there and Hunter can pick defenses apart. Because he has time to just sit there and look outside of a clock. But it's different when someone's making you move off your spot. The protection, you got to pick up pressure and all that stuff. So it just changes things. And I think that might be what he's struggling with, because the quarterback was nice in the summer.
Yeah. Speaking of protection for your quarterback, our center, Brock Langston had an injury last week, and we want to give Brock a shout out too.
Yeah.
He committed this week to Lindsey Wilson.
Yeah, that was
proud for him.
Yeah, definitely. That's where he wanted. That's where he wanted to go. That's the college he wanted, and they came with an offer, and he said, "That's where I want to go." So.
And like all these guys now, he announces it on social media. Beats me to the punch.
Yeah,
has to outdo the press, so I had to pull it off
and that's
share
for him. That's him. That's his style. So
yeah. Brock is quite a character. If he don't make it on the field, he may make it in broadcasting.
Yeah,
he's one of those guys.
He'll make something.
But Brock had a shoulder injury from the Conwell game, but he's okay, clear to play.
Yeah, he's cleared to play. With him, the injury he has, it's more about pain tolerance, just the separation, AC separation, and he's okay.
Who's the backup guy if he can't go?
What happens is we'll bring in another lineman, probably Jagger, and bump Porter over to center. Is typically what happens.
Yeah, Porter used to be the center.
Yeah, Porter was center before Brock moved over.
Of course, we've got 3 guys who will be out this week. Devin Nesbitt is out, and Cade McAllister's out, and those 2 guys may be out, maybe short term, but then you also have Preston Turley. I'll let you talk about each one of these guys.
Yeah, I'll start with Preston. It's unfortunate for Preston because he, coming back to football, in the time it was taking him to get acclimated to the game and playing a whole new position he's never played before, and every time he'd get going, an injury would happen. So in the summer he breaks his nose playing basketball, playing with his travel team. The day after the day before, or the week before, whatever, that he became a receiver at 707. And, he looked good. And then, after the first game and practice that next week, he was one of those guys who, like Brock, separates his shoulder and he was getting comfortable again. And then, he goes and has his best game to date at Caldwell, gets a touchdown, makes a couple big catches, and, he breaks his leg. So he'll be done for the year. We won't see him again until basketball season because he's going to have some work done there. So,
that's a shame because he played a great game over there
definitely.
As well.
I hate it for him because he's such a competitive kid, and him getting hurt, he takes it as he's letting us down, and that's not the case at all. He gave us everything he had every time he was out there, and he's still a part of us, and we love him for everything he did do for us, and we still want him to be a part of it and be there and enjoy it. But of course, he's going to be laid up for a little while until he gets held up.
Yeah.
So.
And other guys.
We had Devin, he's just in the concussion protocol. Everything came back clear, so there's just a protocol for player safety. You don't want to go back to back with and get another concussion quickly. So he's okay, but he'll be out this week for sure. Just make sure we take care of our players.
There are guidelines. There's a cheat sheet for this.
Definitely.
What you have to meet if you have, I believe, concussion anytime. So, and then Cade McAllister has a back problem.
Yeah, and until we figure out what the issue is, he'll be out. I think that we'll probably be able to figure something out next week, but this week is definitely a no-go. So I don't have as much to say other than he's been struggling with some back pain, and we want to make sure we figure that out, because anytime you're wrestling with the spine or just the back period, you want to know.
I know about that right now. I've been pulling one leg around.
Okay, let's get you walking around.
So with these guys out, I assume some new other guys are going to get a lot more playing time, or maybe will we see somebody totally new this week?
Yeah, well, you'll see offensively for Preston, you'll see Mitchell Joyce and Travis Guest both rotate in that situation, because typically what I would do is I'd move Dawson out and I'd bring McAllister in, but having both of those guys out, you'll see another receiver get in there. Mitchell, he'll get the first shot, and we'll rotate Travis to see what he can do as well. And then, of course, some of our personnel sets, you'll see some guys move around different places. You'll see Gavin utilized more on offense, and as well as Tyler to fill that void. Both of those voids as far as Caden and Preston. Defensively, I think defensive end, it'll be by committee. You'll see Riley Gobin, you'll see Kennis in there and move some guys out that have been playing inside. You'll see Ian Ellington play down there in the box as well. So I think it's just by committee, depending on what he's trying to do at that time. And then you'll also see Mitchell Joyce fill in that role that Caden filled on the defense.
I know losing Preston offensively is huge because of the mismatches that he can create. Yeah. But defensively, I thought is where he was really going to blossom, and that defensive end is such an important spot.
Definitely. And, you know, anytime you lose a starter, it's tough. But, you know, it's about responding and seeing how other kids, when their numbers call, fill in. And I mean, you're a starter now. You just got to go out there and find a way to make it happen. And typically what you see is kids do that. You know, they get that opportunity and it's like, man, we should have been playing this kid all along. Not saying that they're better than the person that was there. It's just you get to see when they get that chance, that opportunity, you see that they can step up to the challenge.
On the other end, Sean O'Leary, he was kind of taken out of the game last week too. I think he was being held a time or two.
Yeah. You know, you go back and watch the film, and you can see it on the film. And you know, the officials are human, just like, you know, I'm going to make bad calls sometimes. It's like Hunter makes bad decisions sometimes when he throws, or running back Nesbitt doesn't hold on to the ball, or just, you know, 27 missed tackles by defense. But, you know, when you're being held and you're in a situation that's not going your way, what defines you as a man is how you respond to it. So we got to make sure that when we go through that type of stuff that we respond like men, and that's going forward, everything we have.
All right, Coach. Well, we're going to finish up a big week, a homecoming week here at Crittenden County with the parade tonight, and then the football game on Friday night. A lot of festivities. All the windows are painted around town. Everyone's excited. Everyone's excited about this football team. And we're gonna take the opportunity right here to find out about the trash can that's on the sideline. So we're gonna get some narration from the linebacker and the safety, and they're going to take us through exactly what that can is and why it's on the sideline. And then we're going to have another little visit from Uncle Mark, who, like I said, is going to go into your pedigree a little bit.
Uncle Mark.
All right, well, Coach, good luck this week. We're excited to have the Trojans come in for homecoming.
Yeah, definitely. Appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
All right, before we get to our last two segments, we're going to go across town to what I would call one of the hotbeds of Rocket football support in Crittenden County. It's over to Mike's Barbershop, and this week Mike's going to bring you the trivia question of the week. Now remember, if you know the answer to the question, it's good for a free round of golf down at Deer Lakes Golf Course. But you'll have to take your answer to H&H Supply in Marion, Kentucky. Tell those folks down there the answer to the question. If it's right, they'll give you a gift certificate for a free round of golf. Let's go see what's going on over at Mike's place.
I'm Mike Crabtree, former Rocket, and this is Jared Byford, our mayor, and he is a former Rocket also. And this week's trivia question is, what former Rocket from 1975 recovered a fumble and ran it back for 92 yards for a touchdown? It's a school record. And the hint this week is he's a Baylor.
I'm Gavin Dickerson, strong side linebacker.
And I'm Brandon Lamy, free safety.
Here in Rocket Nation,
all cans are not created equal.
They're soup cans.
Grandma used to can pickles in a mason jar.
Some people do things get tossed in the can.
Some people don't like to be bothered on the can.
Hurry up, I gotta use the can. Some politicians are known for kicking the can down the road.
You really gotta go. Need a gas can.
When Lamy's weightlifting, he likes the encouragement. I know you can, I know you can, I know you can.
We're not talking about an ordinary garbage can.
Now we're gonna get off our cans
and go show you the real can. Here at Rocky Nation,
we have the turnover can.
Every time we get a turnover, we celebrate with the ball by dunking, celebrating, or whatever with the trash can.
By putting the ball in the trash can, we're showing our pride for the turnover we just got, because at the end of the night, we want to have at least 2 more turnovers than the other team.
Miami has a turnover chain, and Coach Courtney figured that he wanted to be kind of different, so come up with the idea of a turnover trash can.
And with this turnover trash can, it really makes all of us want to get more turnovers, because at the end of the night, the team that has the turnover margin typically wins the game. Teams who have +2 in the turnover margin, 91% of the time win the game. So that's why we have 91% spray painted onto the trash can.
Here we have SC for Stewart County. We had a +3 margin over the game. And then here we have Trigg County over a +5. Oh, well, we added 2.
And there's no sitting on this can.
When you see one of us celebrating on the sidelines, dunking the ball in the can,
now you'll know what it's all about.
You know, last week we talked a little bit about Sean, kind of teased him a little bit about being a sissy, but this week I want to talk a little bit about his passion for football and maybe where that comes from. His grandfather, my dad, was an all-state center and linebacker back in the 1950s at Lakeland High School in Florida, and his big claim to fame was he got to room for a week in the state all-star game with Burt Reynolds, who went on to Florida State to play, and we all know how his career ended up, a big movie star. Then later in life, Shelton Thompson, Sean's father, came into the picture, and he played at the same high school that I did, and he went to Florida State on a football scholarship. Unfortunately, it was with the Seminoles, but you know, it was a D1 school, and unfortunately Sean likes the school out west, but you know, we all make mistakes in life. But his father was a 2-year starter at Florida State, outside linebacker, played with Odell Haggins, Deion Sanders, Sammy Smith. In the heyday of Florida State football, they were a dynasty back then for sure. So Sean's blood runs deep in the game of football. Both his uncles, myself and his uncle Scott, played football as well. We weren't lucky enough and good enough to be able to play at the level that Sean and his dad played, but he's got football running through his blood, and I know he has a passion for it that he's going to continue to bring to Crittenden County.